appreciate you for the honor of coming to get my side of the story. And then coming to my humble home. Altogether, if I want to just thank you for all these things, will take time. I've listened to the issues you raised. If I forget, just remind me. I'm not sure I know some of these issues because I have never brought Atiku to Kaduna. That's number one. But I remember that when Atiku was looking for leadership, as politicians would do, he came for his rally in Kaduna, and among the stakeholders he's supposed to meet are Christian leaders, just as he met Muslim leaders. So in the itinerary they inserted one of the visits to us. If that's what they mean, you can say I didn't bring him. I'm not the side stiff of there or something. So to me, it's laughable. But let me really, I think the best thing I'm supposed to say is that I suppose not to even respond to Pam and to Oyibe. The simple reason is that they ceased to be CAN leaders since on the 3rd of May 2023. I'm going to right away before so that I don't go and rehearse it. Send you this press statement we issued on the 4th of May, a day after that election, celebrating in the joyous mood. So it's not like we plan it, it's not the blackmail. I hope you understand. We issued a press statement celebrating that Pam yesterday, Friday night, the 3rd of May, was re-elected for a second time of 3 years. And calculate, if someone was re-elected on the 3rd of May 2019 for 3 years, when should the tenure finish? The tenure finishes, let's say May 2022. So anything that Pam and Oyibe have been doing from May 2022 to February 2025 is illegal. Over 2 years, 9 months. So you see, in practice, they don't have any moral right, because one of the issues with land, of course, I don't know whether they say to you, is that they say they're supposed to conduct. No, they don't have the right to conduct election. Haven't overstayed with 2 years, not 1 month, not 1 year, 2 years, and after 2 years, 9 months. You see, they've lost any. You are journalists. Let's be honest to yourself. If the NUJ chairman exceed 1 week from his tenure, I believe you people would not even allow him conduct election. So it's a common sense thing. We're not talking about anything. It's a common sense thing. Those terms they are using is for that to just make the matter look big. So if there is an illegality in the first place, that's the cock of the matter. All other things, whether someone come from Lagos, I'm happy that I don't know who came from Lagos, but if anybody came from Lagos, probably because of proximity, Hilam were holding a meeting and entered. He was not there when we cast election. He didn't play any role. If anybody collected money from him, not to the knowledge of this Reverend Hayab, because as at the weekend before the event, I was preaching at a big Baptist meeting in Gombe. So I just arrived here in the night on Saturday, and I got a call that you need to be in Abuja on Tuesday, and I was in your secretariat on that Tuesday. If I'm the mastermind of the meeting, I would have been there. So I left your secretariat on Tuesday around 10 o'clock, not 12 o'clock, to Abuja to be part of the meeting, like how everybody came. Legitimately, those who made, when you talk about CAN, who is CAN? CAN belongs to Christians. Who are the Christians? Churches that make up Christians. So if CAN belongs to Christians, churches that make up Christians, I am a pastor. This Northern CAN is, I have been PRO of Northern CAN twice. I was once PRO when I was secretary, and later on came back before I became chairman, or when I was chairman, to become PRO for the first time we did with Pam. When we were to be re-elected, I got to, because that's where Pam, they are not telling you. In the first election in 2016, I was elected PRO. Who was the vice chairman of Pam? One Reverend Musa Dada. Baba Musa Dada was the chairman of CAN in Niger State. And he served for 3 years. So in 2019, they say his tenure has finished. Before the election, so that's why I became the vice. So all these things are very clear. And I've been CAN chairman until this January 2024, on the 24th, exactly, that we did election, and I rotated off. So I remained member of CAN all my life as long as I'm a Christian. But if probably because in the last 2 years I have not been coming, yes, because I can't be part of an illegal leadership. Since leadership tenure has expired, and I'm going to share the link with you so that you have it direct. If it has expired, thank God. Go and Google it, not the one I'm going to give. I'm just going to give you that of Premium Times. But go and Google it, you'll find more of you. Many of you wrote the story that time. If you forget it now, I've just done a simple job of reminding you. You wrote the story, celebrating us. So why should we, sir, assuming a politician stayed beyond that period for 1 week, 1 month, would there be peace in Nigeria? We are Christians who are supposed to display integrity. I don't have any problem with, if he has problem with the man in Lagos, please let them go and settle that. I'm not involved because I wasn't there. So all the issues are simple. They've stayed beyond their time and the house. Literally, in December, the leaders called them and said, look, you've overstayed, call for a meeting and do election. They now pleaded with them, don't worry, we're going to do election, we're going to do election. We'll call in January. They called for a meeting in January. When they arrived at the meeting in January, in the agenda, there was no election. The new treasurer of CAN, Reverend Father Dr. Polycarp Lugo, is the chairman of Plateau. If you want, I can put a hand-free call for him now to explain, so that I'm not explaining for him. Stood up and raised concern about the election. They didn't listen to him. They insulted a priest, a pastor, because he just wanted them to do what is right. And that's why the people felt these people will not hear any reason again. The best way is, let's put our heads together, because after all, when we come to Northern CAN, we come as representative of the state chapters of CAN to make Northern CAN. And they were the ones. In that election, sir, 16 states were there, live and direct, not under any coercion or certain things. The only state that did not come have their reason for not coming, not because they are not in support of this administration, but because, like the UOB chairman will tell me that, Pastor, we had a meeting in the south and I needed to go, but we were with you 100%. The KB one was the one who did not confess he was concerned how will he transport himself to Abuja. But after the election and he got to know, he said, look, I'm with you. If I'm lying, call him that he didn't discuss that with me. So the Taraba pastor was holding a conference of their church at the week, and that was why he was not there. The only person I cannot speak for is the Bauchi, because I have not spoken to him up to today. Since I'm not lobbying anybody, I have a mandate of all of them, including the block people. In that meeting, our father, Reverend Engineer Salifu, the former National Secretary of CAN, the former General Secretary of the Northern CAN, was the chair of the meeting. Because when you have a situation of confusion, you need stakeholders to call you. So it's the stakeholders, they are now calling names, calling titles that does not exist. Can they say, Baba Salihu do not have a stake in CAN? My brother and humble former GS of Ekwa was live and direct at the meeting. There's one Reverend Mutua. He was even in the Electoral College. I've asked him to come. He was there. How did he find himself in that meeting yesterday? He simply came to repair his car and was eating food in the restaurant. And they saw him, because some of the people that met in the meeting are not legitimate people. Larger part of CAN leaders, as I speak to you, and I can call them now, you will hear them speak. They are in Israel for pilgrimage. They left that Wednesday in the evening. It's everything. They are not. So I think the best thing we need to do here is to wait for the arrival of our chairman by weekend. Then I'm going to bring the chairman here and secretaries. Just leave it and call you. We'll meet either in CAN office or meet in the same way they do. Then you will know the difference between who is the leader and who is talking, because he can pay someone, he can call journalists. I think time has come in our life that we either be truthful or we keep lying. So in order to make it look messy, that's why some of the things we are raising here are coming. They don't have meaning to me. Nobody had ever sacked me in CAN. If I was sacked, why was I CAN chairman Kaduna State? That's the first question you asked.
No, they didn't say sacked, suspended.
Nobody suspend me. If they have the power to suspend me, then you cannot be suspended from PDP and you still hold PDP office. Or suspended from APC and you still hold APC office. Nobody suspend me. Okay. I simply did not come for many meetings. And when they reached out to me, I told them I don't want to come into illegality. And they didn't suspend me. I can remember, if they have forgotten, they should know that I have a fantastic
And you said Northern CAN is an illegality.
Well, they can say all they want to say. I am a Christian. I belong to this faith through my confession of faith in Jesus Christ, and then I belong to a church that is directly supporting and being strong members of CAN. So I can, any CAN, whether you call it local government, whether you call it zone, call it whatever, it as long as Christians are gathering, I will go, and nobody will decide which one I go and which one. But you see, to bring in, because I think if you have lost power and you don't know how to get it, you can bring up so that now are we pursuing? He said Northern Can is illegal, or are we pursuing Atiku came to Kaduna? No, they say I brought Atiku. You know, a common sense person, you just accept how you start responding this one. I'll look stupid and I'll bring the entire Christendom into disrepute. I know one thing people will know me for, that I speak truth to power. And when I have opportunity, I will stand for Christians and speak for Christians. And this is what I'm pledging to Christians. Forget the confusion and the diversion that you are hearing. This is your humble chairman. I will serve you. I will do my best to ensure that your voice is heard. This election has done and over. Look, to set the confusion, the first thing they did was that they got one of you to write a story for the youth group and gave the youth chairman to sign. The moment the youth chairman got the story, he refused to sign. Then they get one online media to publish it. The youth chairman, without waste of time, refuted it. I can call him now. I want you to hear him. His name is Musa Misal. He is the youth chairman of CAN in the 19 northern states. And Abuja, can you respond to him? You just go outside and tell him where we are, please. He's there. So there's nothing. They've tried women, it's not working. They've tried the pastor, it's not the pastors, the chairman, it's not working. So they keep cooking stories. Do you think that I have the grace of time? Am I thinking and worried about closure of schools so that our children will not go to school, or I have time to start answering this one? No, that is just suicidal. I've been elected to serve the church. I'm going to serve the church. If the state chairman and their representative meet today and say, Reverend Hayab, we did elected you, but we elected you in error. We don't want you to be chairman again. But because somebody by the side, no, we can't give credence to that. So if I'm not sure I answered all your questions, because some of them don't mean anything.
Put the record straight. Put the record straight.
Yes.
Did you at any time say that Northern Can is nothing? It's not known?
You see,
and did you at any time order the removal of Northern Can sign?
That's another point. I'm even surprised to hear that, because it's quite unfortunate. Me, I've never removed Northern Can signboard. Please, probably, am I too old not to forget things this way? But I can remember that when I left as CAN secretary, my tenure ended. There was a confusion or this misunderstanding between the then leadership of Northern Can and CAN Kaduna State. And who was the chairman then? Dr. Kujet. They had a lot of drama, so they are mixing information. But you see, Kujet is not here to respond, so we don't need to drag anything. I hope you understand. So if they remove their signboard, they didn't come to seek my clearance, and I don't have power, because then I rotated out on the 31st of December 2009. No, 2010. 2010. No, Magaji wasn't secretary. When I rotated out, he took over from me. So I'm not even sure. Probably he will say something. So you see, people can say, if that is the story, that's why I say, what I'm finding here is that confuse it, so that instead of us talking about what matters, the issue here is not the questions you're asking me. The issue here is that, were they elected in 2029 for 3 years? Have 2019 has 2019 3 years expired? Do your calculation. 2019 3 years supposed to have expired in May 2022. What happened? May 2022, May 2023, May 2024. We are about to go to May 2025. They don't have one constitutional, moral, or spiritual right to call for any meeting. Thank you. And this brother,
would you also straighten the record?
Come and sit here. Because you were in the electoral college. Come and sit. So they keep toying with your mind.
The issue of tenure, one.
Yeah.
And two, the issue of that chap that wrote that they got to you, Khan, you would want to call him
Which are? Okay, no.
because it.
No, I don't think. No, that's.
If some of you don't want.
No, Reverend, no, come on, no.
Let me say the last thing. Probably to again your question. The same legal advisor or the same legal man who is a member of CAN and a very friend to all of them, who conducted their election on the 3rd of May 2019, is the same person who conducted this election. Because he said as a Christian, he is a lawyer and a pastor. It's even a shame that the people he conducted their election could stay this way. These are people I can give you their numbers. The fact is that Engineer Salu, who is waiting for you, once you finish talking to me, those of you who are willing to talk with him, he's at home, because as a father, it will be disrespectful for us to bring him here. We have to go to his house. So he chaired that meeting. So when you start talking to people who just came up today and thinking they own all of us, it's ridiculous. Pam should try that in Plateau. The Plateau CAN chairman will tell him where he belongs. So the CAN chairman, Kaduna State, was even the one who moved the motion that it should be dissolved, seconded by the chairman of CAN, Kwara State, a bishop. So I don't know what they're talking about. You can't have a mandate of the people and someone by the roadside is distracting you. If you do that as a leader, you won't deliver if there is dividend of spirituality. So I want to focus on delivering to the people, not diverting attention. They are the one creating friction, but what I keep receiving every day is congratulatory messages, identifying with me as part of what we want to do, advising on what to do. If I tell you prominent Nigerians of northern extraction that have called within the last 48 to 72 hours to say, hey, we are with you 100%, I think we won't be discussing this. But the simple thing is because they said, if we don't say as if we don't know, but I've told you one promise. I am going to bring them here. Then that day, we will lay this matter to rest. But for now, I have tried to answer some of your questions. Unless there's something so important that you think I must say. But after those issues doesn't mean anything to
Just
me.
want to just set the record straight. You said 16 states.
16 states were there present.
Okay, Yobe, KB, Taraba, Bauchi were not.
Oh, yeah, Yobe, Taraba, they had no representative.
So that's 15 states.
No, FCT was there. If you add 19 states and Abuja, that's why I'm saying
From my
16.
record,
Yeah.
Yobe,
KB,
KB, Taraba,
and Bauchi.
they were not.
Yeah, so when you calculate 19
By 4.
No, 19 plus 1 and deduct 4, you have 16. Am I right?
FCT. Oh.
FCT were there. Fully. Okay, you were the representative or the chairman of the FCT.
Lastly, is it stakeholders or the state chairman and secretary?
State chairman and secretary, sir.
Okay.
What we did was, you see, because they have done everything to give them do election, they refuse.
Okay.
Now, if you call the chairman and secretaries, it is important you have other stakeholders who will listen to the conversation. And that's where they are confusing the conversation with northern many. And there was no official statement with that. I learned that it's a conversation, or if we call our national director for national issues, northern director for national issues, Reverend Pastor Doni, to ask him who is calling. Probably it's just a conversation between them, which has no merit. And you can't take what you discuss with someone. He can't quote me. He can't quote Kampul. He can't quote Bishop Naga, who is the secretary. He can't quote Reverend Dr. Jonah Sampson, who is the vice. Interestingly for you, the CAN today is operating with 3 zones. Northwest, Northeast, North Central. What happens, sir? I am from Northwest as the chairman. The vice chairman of CAN of Northern State is from the North Central. What's his name?
The vice chairman of
CAN, Northern Nigeria. Reverend Dr. Jonah Sampson. And he is the chairman of CAN of the North Central.
Okay.
The secretary that is my secretary is Bishop Mohammed Naga. He is the chairman of CAN of Northeast. This assistant secretary is the chairman of CAN, Zamfara State. The treasurer is the chairman of CAN of Plateau State, not in absentia. So I don't know what we're talking about, because the moment now I call my escort to a meeting, you will know the difference between CAN and meeting of friends. Because what you have covered today was actually a meeting of friends, but they have a right. About in a democracy, in a country, and our civilization as Christians, if they don't meet, then they are not human beings. And if they meet and chose to hit at me, so that instead of talking about the election, I think they're supposed to have called and said, no, we didn't exceed the time. No, we were within the time. They didn't talk about that.
Address the issue.
The issue, they just divert it into something else so that instead of you seeing the issue, you are going. That's why I say I want to give you the link to justify it. And if you don't want it for me, just Google Pam re-elected as Khan, not as state chairman. You will have links for many of your media, the date. And so the difference is clear. So please, we are gentlemen of the press, and I know you are people of integrity. We won't soil ourselves just because we want to please friends. Let's stand for the truth and stand with it. Not Hayab. I have even said some quarters that probably if it was not Hayab that elected, they may support that with Hayab, so they are angry. But unfortunately for them, the people felt I have what it takes at this time to serve them. And I promise I won't fail. I'm going to serve them. All these things will not stop me serving them. Many, from now henceforth, you'll be hearing from me. Because all I want to do, I've already given you one message, which I wish that's the message you would have been asking me now. The message is the drama going on in the National Assembly.
Yeah.
There is need for elders to intervene. Akabio and Natasha comes from a constituency. They have elders in their constituency that should intervene. And there are respectful religious leaders in Nigeria that can intervene. Let them be open. Even the National Assembly, we used to call the Senate, that is the upper chamber. I like it in Hausa, and Majalis and the Tower. So they should do the Tower thing and resolve this matter. What is happening today is that we are being divided on regional line. I saw Arewa Consultative Forum gave a statement, and when I read through, I said, hey, we cannot finish if we start this way. And then we are also divided on gender lines. We should not do that. So my sister Natasha, distinguished sister Natasha, and our brother Apabio, you have better ways to resolve your matter. If it is allegation of sexual harassment, it's a very weighty thing, but there are still procedure of solving it because it's just an allegation. People will think differently. We don't want this country to be confused at this time. And if for some deliberate reason we use it to destroy and tarnish the integrity of the National Assembly, at the end it will be Nigerian National Assembly. Nobody will separate anybody, so we'll all be victims. So this is the story I want you people to tell the world, that the Khan chairman said this because this is what we want to see happen. If we can bring sanity in our National Assembly, sanity in our governance, sanity in our country, I can assure you we've ended. But when we allow these kind of things, I'm only ashamed that we are talking about what we used to accuse politicians of overstaying in office. I wish this subject is not. If I have my way, we don't even need to publish this. Because it's going to be embarrassing to the church. Because the evidence is clear. How can you exceed your time? And you are still, no shame, saying that we should call you to preside. You don't have the moral right to preside. No organization in the world will ever do that. Unless we are not truthful. So it's not about Hayab. It's about the right thing must be done. So once again, thank you for coming to my humble home. Thank you for coming because you were all around there. Thank you for coming. I saw you are also sitting on the high table there, so you also sat there. So where do you belong?
What's your name, sir?
Well, you know, I spoke.
No. You didn't speak at the media.
I just said your name.
Yes, asking your name.
Reverend Adams.
Adams who?
Sabayao. Sabayao.
But Reverend, I don't think there was a question I actually asked.
What is it?
And I asked because I'm also a Christian. I asked because I am really very worried
You are
that
who?
this is happening in the Christian.
Yeah, honestly.
Very worried.
Everybody,
I came
now,
from
now,
FCT,
Reverend Pam did say
Khan FCT.
that all the documents of Northern Khan,
Yes.
the properties, everything that they own, houses and all of that, is still in their possession. Now, you also said, sorry sir, you also said that the Ibe was not elected, but is an employee of Northern Khan, Reverend Pam.
Yes.
He said that Ibe is an appointee of
please,
Northern
that's a
Khan.
good one.
And that they have all the papers, everything as far as Northern Khan is concerned.
Okay.
How are you going to operate?
No. I think it's the
Yes,
very simple.
bylaw.
This is simple now.
Okay.
This is just what they say. Of course, we cannot be elected last Tuesday and we have the document. This is the job of the new administration for them to hand over the document that belongs to Khan. if they think that way, it looks a little bit primitive. There's no, even when, let me use Kaduna, that's the way I'm familiar. When Uber took over from Erufai, it wasn't just instantly documents were there, even though they all have a long transition and clarity. But looking at the circumstance of illegality of 2 years, 9 months, it is left for the. I had a fantastic conversation this morning with our legal advisor. Our legal advisor is a professor of law. She teaches in a university. And these things are very simple. I think their lawyer is not advising them right. To get those documents is not an issue. I don't think we need to talk to the media or getting our documents, because when we meet as leaders, we will instruct them the right thing to do. If they don't do it, they understand how it works. So it's not about matter. To me, that's not even an issue. Of course, the document has to be in their hands. They've been holding it illegally for 2 years, 9 months. So they're going to release it when it is time. No, but you get yourself into a matter of first. If you see, I'm even surprised at some of this. The matter is simple. Were they elected on the 3rd of May, 2019? Yes. For 3 years? Yes. Why up to today, almost 6 years? Are they changing constitution? Why will you be on office then you want to change constitution? Okay. That's a terrible error. That's great. Yeah. Whatever you call it bylaw. Yeah. Sir, in the meeting they held in January, when they came up, members told them, I have one of their members who is a lawyer, say, Kai. You people don't even understand this thing. No. There's an error in your demands. There's an error in what you are saying should be done. I hope you understand. Unfortunately, they didn't hear. Sir, if we were to take this matter from the point of law, they won't meet at Catholic Sister Center today. But probably that's the error, or that's the mistake, or that's the humility, the Christian spirit, that sometimes we just believe that they will come to their senses, like the prodigal son, and return what belongs to Can. But if not, I don't even see them, whether they're sleeping, to think of what they're saying. But you can't control people who probably are vicious and angry, want to hold to power by all means. How will you do? If they say what they say, let's look at it from the point of law. Don't even ask me, ask lawyers. So are we going to be honest or we pretend? So sir, the documents with them is not a problem. Okay. Let them not forget which office, where are they? So there are many things that will follow shortly. But let's hold on. I never remembered to have removed their sample because I didn't do. So some of those things, as I've said, the matter is still one. I think instead of focusing on the subject, diversion on this, because that one to me.
They said the tenure is 4 years and not 3 years.
Okay, good.
Let me just and that they met in that January for the purpose of reviewing the bylaws, and that the chairman said he was going to resign. He was going, but it was the house that needed him to stay.
Sir, that's why I say when I come with the chairman, or if you allow Lobo to talk, because he was the one who had been raised and they insulted him, so there was nothing like that. But because they can say it, we don't need to argue. If they say 4 years, let's quickly do a review. You were voted in 2016. The person you were voted with as the chairman, vice chairman, in 3 years you say tenure has finished and there was election. When did you change it to 4 years? In the second time? No. Okay, if you change it to 4 years the second time, still the calculation is not far-fetched. That means by 2023 May, it's supposed to go. So they have now exceeded with 1 year, 9 months. 1 year, 9 months is still too long for any legal assent person. So I don't know, I think they've not really sit down to calculate. They are thinking it's a good argument. See, if the other leaders, and I think this is what they did, they took advantage of the ignorance of, not quite ignorant, we changed leadership. So probably the chairman of CAN came, not knowing when they started, Kaduna State, but the chairman of CAN, Katsina, came, not knowing when they started. But there's record, integrity, morality, righteousness would have just tell them that we have voted on this day. And on this day, let us go. I remember the fact that we even forgot this story. It was when we did the election, the next day we were having a press conference. Some 2 journalists, the son is Fred, you know him. Fred and Luminius of Vanguard, you know him. They were the one who confronted us and said they knew about this, and they wrote a story that time. It was in a deaf ear. So it's not something hidden. If you Google the link of the extension of time, you also find it on the internet, that the story was written. That is the advice people outside, friends, one of their very top friends called me to congratulate me, and I was shocked. I said, "You are congratulating me?" He said, "Yes," because he has told him several times not to do that. They should call election, they refuse. So I think they should honorably just apologize to Christians for painting us in bad light, to showing as if we are selfish, greedy for power. I think they have no one moral right to call one meeting and call their friends and gather you people to put story. If they want to do media war, they won't last. They won't last. They won't last. But morality should have teach them, no sir, honestly we overstayed, but we thought we could correct something. Now that you feel we are sorry. And hand over what? They can go with it, sir. I know the properties of Khan. Don't even waste your time. I know every bit of Khan property. So they don't even waste your time talking about that. Morality and righteousness supposed to be their way.